muchos pesos so that we can pay for the engine to be released from customs, because there's an import fee and a customs fee that we need to pay, and it's really difficult here because you can only get about like $300 out at each ATM. So as soon as you have to pay, you know, over $1,000 for something, you have to do this big expedition of visiting ATMs all over town to get sufficient cash to pay the bank. So that's our current mission, and yeah, hopefully if we can pay it today, which we should be able to, the engine will be released today. Yay!
A few weeks ago, when we started our vaccination campaigns, we made sure to do all of the dogs living near the hotel. It was really fun because we already knew all these doggies on this street and their owners. One such dog was Neron. Despite his size, Neron was only 3.5 months old. We did his second booster vaccine and vaccinated his 2 older sisters, Luna and Scrappy.
Está bien, Luna. Está bien, amor.
Espérate, Luna, espérate, no te van a hacer nada, Luna. Quédate quieta. Hola, bebé.
Neron is a Great Dane cross and was in good health for his vaccine. Unfortunately, a few weeks later, he wasn't feeling so well.
Little Neron, well, he's probably not that little anymore, but he's feeling a bit sick again, so we're just going to go check on him and see what's up. Okay. ¿Y la foto está en comida o es amarillo?
Neron had been vomiting the night before we saw him, and in the morning wasn't his normal happy self. We did a full physical examination, and with everything seeming normal other than a mild fever, we began medical treatment to see how he would respond.
Ba-da-da-da, da, da-da-da-da, da. The engine is here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's really fun.
It's really not a big deal. Whoa! Whoa!
So, we'd like to take this opportunity of opening the engine to say a huge thank you to Sean Braxton and the team at Marine Enterprises, because as some of you may know, we tried to order the engine from the States, and there was such a backlog of engines that we waited almost 6 months and then finally decided we needed to do something else. And I managed to find this new pretty girl in the UK with the Marine Enterprises team. And not only did Sean organise for it to be shipped and get it all done as quickly as possible for us, but he also sent us some gifts to help us with the work we do. Obviously these gifts aren't for the animals, they're for the boat, but they help us because it means we can put more towards the animals. Such as new pliers, new wrap kit set. I'm gonna have to look through everything. This is, I think, the panels, the electrical stuff. That's all the electrical stuff. But we've got like a shaft seal in here. We've got all kinds of stuff. I'm gonna have to unpack it and remember all the stuff that we have, because there is a lot. But I'm so excited. So fancy. Imagine being able to see the RPMs. I can barely imagine it. Yeah, if you want to. Oh, then this is all hose clamps. Yeah, all the hose clamps for getting the exhaust hose on. A new shaft seal, since ours got covered in transmission oil, yeah. What else have we got here? Maybe a coupling is my guess. And a new water strainer. Alrighty. Cool. I want to sing the like Miss America pageant song. Like, what is it like? Isn't she beautiful? I'm very excited to start from scratch and like just know how things are connected and not like have to figure out how people have changed it over many years and things like that. So Neron, he's got a lot of gas in his intestines and he has a fever again, so we're going to take some blood and Jenny will take it in to her clinic in town to run the tests for us today. So
We took blood to send to the clinic, and although the results came back as normal, Neron continued to go downhill. He had very little energy and hadn't eaten for 3 days, so we decided to start him on intravenous fluids as well as the antibiotics and anti-vomiting medicine we'd already began.
Alright, it is the night of my birthday. We have been doing treatments for Neron on my birthday and he's gone downhill pretty fast. I put him on a drip and he's just like vomiting up the fluid, so it's coming straight from his veins into his stomach and he's vomiting it up. And I'm really worried he has an intestinal obstruction just with how his symptoms are progressing, and I thought I might be able to feel something on this last check I did on him. So that kind of turns it into an emergency. So we're going to take him into Tapantula. It's about 7:30 at night. Hopefully we'll get to the vet around 8:30, take some x-rays and then see whether we need to go in for emergency surgery or what. So yeah, if you want to help me on my birthday, you can help sponsor Neron's treatment. Aquí. Y la última vez también es solo aquí, pero después 2 días con metoclopramida y un poco comida y ellos también.
The first step was taking an x-ray to check for any evidence of an obstruction.
So for right now, he's got a lot of gas, but it's not looking like an obstruction.
While we were waiting for the x-ray to develop, Neron started having bloody diarrhea, and so we decided to begin treatment for hemorrhagic gastroenteritis, a disease that can be fatal in young puppies.
Hopefully, with the treatments, he starts to feel better, the poor boy. They also have the special food here for him. It's like it's got special molecules that are easier to digest. They're like smaller, so the body can absorb them better when it's having trouble absorbing things. So they're a pretty good clinic here. They got all the stuff, and this vet, Manuel, seems really, really good. So he'll be in good hands for tonight.
It was very hard for myself and Neron's owner Carla to walk away and leave him in hospital, but we knew it was his best chance of survival.
So before we get into some more engine stuff, we are back on board. I just thought I'd give you guys a little update on where Neron is at. It's day 3 in hospital. We've been going in every day, and I also am communicating with the vets. They're sending me photos and treatment updates and everything. He had a blood test yesterday, which was a little concerning because his protein levels are very low, and it's very hard for the body to heal with low protein. And it means that he's not absorbing protein properly, which makes sense given his vomiting and diarrhea, but it is a bit of a concern. He's also showing some signs that his immune system isn't responding as well as we would like it to, but we're doing everything we can. He's on 2 different kinds of antibiotics. He's on anti-nausea medicine. He's on intravenous fluids to keep him hydrated, and we've actually started force feeding him with a special food that's very high in protein to try and get that protein back in his body, but also because the intestinal cells, they die very quickly if they're not getting fed. So it's really important to start oral feeding as soon as we can. And so far he hasn't vomited for a few days, which is promising since he's been in hospital, but he continues to have very bloody diarrhea. So we're very concerned. He's definitely not out of the woods. His blood test is a little worrying. Normally in Australia we'd start plasma or special protein drips at this stage, but it's not available here. So we're doing everything in our power to get him better, but yeah, very hopeful. And of course, this kind of treatment is quite expensive. And so Vet Tales is funding Neron's treatment at this point. Yeah, we're really hoping he gets better. He's a very loved boy. So yeah, we really want him to get home to his family. But yeah, we'll see how he goes and we'll keep you guys updated. In the meantime, engine stuff. So the thing with getting a new engine is it's not just the new engine that is important. There's a lot of other factors that you have to think about. So we've got new exhaust hose, a new strainer, because the strainer is at least as old as the engine, if not older, which means it's kind of like 15 years old. We also now have an anti-siphon valve, which we didn't have before. And then some other things we've gotten that are kind of maybe less obvious. New fuel hose. Obviously important because, again, I have no idea how old the fuel hose is and it's possibly 15 years old. Getting new battery cables. Another really important thing, because if you're trying to start the engine with old cables and old batteries, you know, and you're not getting the right kind of voltage through to it, that can be damaging over time. And so we really wanted to make sure we get the electrical system smick. I also got a new throttle. You may remember we repaired our old one during the refit and then I installed it the wrong way, and I'm sure that didn't help our engine situation. But the cables are super stiff, so we've got new cables, and the throttle itself is very stiff and is starting to kind of have problems where when it's pushed too far, it almost doesn't engage so well anymore. Anyway, so we're getting a new throttle. So yeah, and then also a new coupling. Our old shaft had a different type of, it had kind of a key and lock system, and this coupling is a clamping coupling. So you can see it clamps on there. Yeah, newer system. So we've got that. And then we also have the, like a flexible coupling attachment. And so this is good because not only does it help separate the shaft, helps reduce the electrical connection between the shaft and the engine, because this is plastic, and we can actually get washers to try and help to reduce that connection even further. So that's useful, but also it allows a little bit more movement. That's why it's called a flexible coupling. It allows a little bit more movement, so if ever, you know, the prop gets caught on something, there's a strange movement in the engine or the shaft, you've got a little bit more give without causing any damage to the engine, which is really good. So yeah, lots and lots of new stuff to get installed. After 6 days in hospital and a few very touch and go moments where we were very worried about him, Neron is finally coming home with us today. He's so happy. And I'm so happy too. He's coming home. He's coming home. Do you feel better? Do you feel better? Do you say, hey, Chuffed Patrons. Hey, Chuffed Patrons. Thank you for saving my life. Yeah. Yeah, because it was pretty scary for a little while, wasn't it? It was. But yeah, this is a puppy that
Hold on. He licked the screen.
This puppy, little Neron here, would have most definitely died without our treatment, so without being able to bring him to the hospital and pay for his treatment here. So yeah, Neron is extremely grateful, his owner is extremely grateful, and we're extremely grateful because having a happy puppy to take home, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. Yeah, you ready to go? Okay, let's go.
What's gone wrong? Or simply made up about.
You thought he was spreading the virus all down the street. What is this? Where are we? Where are we? Mira, amor. Qué diferencia, ¿verdad? Sí. Oh, qué bien. Ay, quiere que la abrace. Ay, qué exagerado.